Hey guys, I'm really excited because today on KSP TV we have with us Vanika Choudhary, who's the founder of Sequel and also a mom to be. Hi Vanika.
Hi guys.
And we're going to be chatting about eating clean, about her journey as an entrepreneur, about Sequel 2.0, and how eating clean is now a lifestyle and how all of us can adapt to it. And of course about her birthing choices, because she's going to be trying hypnobirthing, and everybody who's willing to try it can of course reach out to her, and that was the whole intent of this video. So I'm very excited to chat with you.
Very excited to be here. Really looking forward to chatting, and also about chatting about my choices, which is about water birth and hypnobirthing, which goes along with it, because I think women need to be aware so that they can just make more informed choices.
Yeah. How did you know that you were pregnant? How many times did you take the test that you were? And how's the journey been so far?
The journey's been absolutely great. We came back from a wedding in Goa of close friends who become friends because we know them from Sequel. And I was feeling a bit exhausted. Dhawal told me that I should take the test, and I was like, no, I don't think I'm pregnant. And one day he really, he really pushed me. He's like, no, I really think you should do it. I'm going to go and get a pregnancy kit and just do the test. And I was like, okay. And we were going to go skiing a week later.
Okay, I'm glad you listened to him.
We still went, but I didn't ski. It was a Sunday morning, I remember, and we decided to take the test. And I looked at him, and he's like, what? I was like, it's positive. I just don't believe it, And I really didn't know what I felt. I was excited. At the same time, I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew one thing, that I'm going to go in for water birth, because this is something I'd considered. When I got to know about water birth like 6-7 years back, I knew that if I ever had a baby, I would go this route. And we were just over the moon, and he said we should go to Sequel a bit later. Let's sit at home, cook a nice meal, have brunch together, and then go to work. And I said okay. And then we were
You're still blushing, you know?
And then we were like, should we call our parents? Is it really true? And he's like, it's true. I was like, I'm not so sure. He's like, okay, then let's go and meet the gynac tomorrow. Yeah. And we did, and we were like, okay, I guess it's official. Yeah. This is it. But in the beginning, I was sort of confused. I just didn't know what to expect, and the first trimester was exhausting. I went through terrible nausea, severe lack of appetite.
That explains that you haven't put on like an ounce. Like, I don't see, have you lost any weight? Should I ask you that?
I did lose in the first trimester, but then, yeah. So then, and then what happened is we continued with our plans of traveling. I came back, I saw the gynac that I was sure I wanted to work with, Dr. Amin. And, he recommended that we go for hypnobirthing, especially because our choice of birth was water birthing, and it's the most natural, holistic thing to do. And I had heard of hypnobirthing, but I had no clue what it was. And like I said, I was excited and confused and nervous at the same time. And I was like, I met my doctor from Viva Maya because he was in Bombay, and he's like, you need to form a pre-birthing bond with your baby. And I was like, what is he talking about right now? All I know is that I'm nauseous 24/7, and I can't eat anything other than steamed vegetables with salt. Even herbs were giving me nausea. And then we both went in for water birthing, because that's like kind of a prerequisite that you do it together with your partner. It just completely changed our view on the whole birthing process. And the first statement that came to my mind was actually my doctors from Viva Maya, which he had said, you need to form a bond with the baby, and you need to talk to the baby every day. And at that time I was like, what is he talking about? But the first session with our hypnobirthing coach, it just completely changed our perspective. And I realized that what a joyful moment this is.
Were you
And
scared?
I
Were you
think
scared?
before,
Like, it's not like, you know, everybody in the country chooses even doctors by recommendation, or like, you know, oh, she's done it, so I'll do it. And that, you know, and I think being a mom, I just feel like if there's one place I wouldn't take a chance is the birth of a baby, right? Because you've lived through it so long. Were you like, are you still scared, nervous, anxious that I don't know anybody else who's done it, or there are very few people who've done it? Does that?
no, I'm not at all anxious. I think if you prepare for it in a right way, and I'm so glad we went through the whole hypnobirthing course, because it's helped us prepare for it, and then we make it a point to practice it regularly, whatever you learn, what hypnobirthing is all about, which is how you control your mind through strong visualization techniques, through positive affirmations every day, through talking to your baby, through relaxation exercises, calming your mind. So I'm not scared, but like I said, I was scared in the beginning, and I just didn't know what to expect. And now when I think about the baby, I'm always so happy, and you know, and I'm so glad that I'm going through this process. In the beginning, I was like, when is my nausea going to settle down? I cannot go through this. And now I keep telling myself, I'm just so excited to go through this, and it's the most wonderful feeling. And I think it just kind of comes to you naturally, but you do need to prepare yourself. I think women just need to know that their bodies are designed to have babies. You know, it's the most natural thing for your body to go through. But you need to tell yourself that, you need to read about it, you know, you need to read all the research that's happening in this front all over the world. And you need to, most importantly, you need to trust yourself, you know. And as long as you do that, you'll enjoy the process. It's really the most phenomenal journey. And when people said that to me, I didn't believe it, and I do now. So,
Wow. So tell me, after the nausea settled in, are you eating?
I'm eating.
Well?
I'm back to my, you know, normal eating at sequel. You know, and recipe testing. I remember 3 months I didn't want to enter the kitchen, you know.
Yeah, that smell would
because my nausea would kick off, and I was perpetually tired and exhausted, and I was like, what's happening to me? Why is my body going through this? And now, I'm back to being in the kitchen, which I absolutely love, you know. And I'm back to eating pretty much everything.
What's it that you eat in a day if you are not, obviously if you're not sick?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to know that, what does she eat? Like, what's her lifestyle like, or what does she eat? So you never crave a pizza, like never.
Somehow never. I'm also allergic to gluten and dairy, but somehow I never crave a pizza. But you know, sometimes
she is not real.
But sometimes when I do, I just make, you know, a gluten-free one. And I just want to take a minute to point this: just because you're following a lifestyle or diet that's gluten-free doesn't mean that it's healthy. You know, gluten-free can also be hugely unhealthy because of the amount of sugar that goes into it, the highly processed, high glycemic flours that I use to create gluten-free stuff. So for me, eating gluten-free is about eating ancient whole grains, like whether it's amaranth, it's buckwheat, it's millet, all of them are native to India. Quinoa, which is not native to India, but is a great grain, you know. This is about going gluten-free, you know, or eating rice. It's not about eating high glycemic flours, which actually have no fiber and no nutritional value.
Like?
You know, there are tons of those, like tapioca flour, for example, cassava, and then so many, you know, and so I just wanted to focus on that and tell people, because sometimes people think, oh, I'm eating gluten-free, but it's a whole lot of sugar, vegetable oils in your food, and that's also highly processed, you know, and it actually has no nutritional value. So
do you first look at you know, when you look at food anywhere else but at Sequel, do you look at it as, okay, what's the nutritional value, or you evaluate how delicious is this gonna be?
You know, at some places I look at both, and then there are some places where I just look at how delicious it is, you know.
So tell me, like,
Especially the
five-
restaurants that
Yeah.
that are more focused on sustainability and farm to table.
Okay,
and
let me
all
let me
that.
ask her this. What are your top 5 restaurants in Bombay?
I love Mask.
Okay.
For me, I think it's undoubtedly the best. Um, and other than that, it's a bit limited for me, considering I'm also allergic to gluten, and and you know, I don't eat dairy as a choice, and I follow a more plant-based lifestyle. And even when I was not allergic, I was not eating gluten. So other than that, it's a bit tough. I actually love regional food, so I love dosas. Um, and all of that. I like.
So she
love
has
Keralite
eaten
food.
at like Shiv Sagar and all of that.
Yeah, like Soam, Swati snacks. I mean, I might eat a dosa there, but yeah, I think these are places that are great. I love them. But my absolute favorite is Mask.
Right. So you okay, and you were telling me about the pizza. So if you really crave a pizza, what do you put in that pizza?
You make a base out of millet, you
Yeah.
know. You can combine grains, millet, buckwheat, amaranth, and you know, make a great base. I'm absolutely okay with no cheese. Or you make a pizza which is dehydrated and more of a raw base with vegetables and tomatoes. Yeah, and you know, I personally love it.
And what happens to Vanika's head when you see those stretchy pizza ads on TV? Like, do you like say, "Oh my God, they're feeding trash to people"?
Well, if you eat it on a regular, I mean every day, yes. But I also think you need to have a positive relationship with food. That's why I do not believe in the whole concept of cheat meals, because the moment you look at a meal which is beyond your regular diet and is let's say unhealthy, and you tell yourself, you know what, I'm actually cheating by eating this, but I'm allowed to have one cheat meal, so I'm going to do this. You actually activate your stress hormone, which means that your cortisol is high, which means that you're not even going to digest the food that you're eating. So what is the point of doing that? I mean, do it, but then as long as you're doing it once in a while, just enjoy it. Don't look at it as a cheat meal, you know. So while I do think that if you eat it on a regular basis, which a lot of people do, and that's why the whole epidemic of obesity and diabetes, as long as it's once in a while and you have a positive relationship with food, I think it's okay.
Right. In an interview, you mentioned you need only 100 calories a day extra in the first trimester. Second trimester is about 300, and the third is 450 calories.
Yeah.
So how are you adding those extra calories, or are you eating consciously? So what's your meal plan like now?
So I'm eating consciously. Like you also asked me what is the typical diet I follow. Well, I make sure 75% of my plate is colorful, vibrant, organic vegetables, you know, which is both good for me and the baby. And women need to remember, they might think that the baby is not getting anything, but the baby actually absorbs everything through your placenta, and there's enough research to prove that. So you have to make it a point to eat nutritious food when you're pregnant. I mean, that's the right time to start if you haven't started before. Secondly, you need to count the chemicals that go into your food way more than you count calories. And third is that you need to look at the micronutrients in your food. Are you getting enough vitamins and minerals? And I mean, I'm not so fascinated by the whole concept of macronutrients and just counting the fat, protein, carb intake.
Great. So before we conclude, I want to just say, like, I wish you all the best. I'm sure it's going to be a brilliant experience, because you're so positive, so strong. And I was just chatting with her before this that I just feel like the human body, and especially a woman's body, is so resilient. It'll just bounce back. What's plans after the baby? Like, have you planned it all? Because everything's fallen into place well at the right time. So any plans on what's happening next?
What's happening next is that Dhaval's decided to take paternity leave, and we might take 3 months just to, travel on and off and bond with the baby. before we get back into the everyday grind, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so we've kind of planned the first 3 months, which is to kind of wind down a little bit.
And any new launches? So next time, you guys, if you might come to Sequel, you'll see a little bassinet. I was just joking to her about it, and the baby will just kind of just grow up to be, you know.
Just grow up here.
Just grow up right here.
Any new launches? You know, we've also launched a whole line of our packaged products. So just to see how to get it out, just to see how to get our whole line of packaged products out there. And yeah, we're just working on it, seeing what comes next.
I mean, do we find it in stores or we find it only at Sequel?
Right now you find it at Sequel, but yeah, we are working on how to get it to the stores as well. Yeah.
I'm quite excited about that one. So thank you, Vanika. Thanks so much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank
and
you,
I
Mansi.
wish
It's
you
been lovely
absolutely
chatting with you.
Yes,